Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Welcome to the Danny and Blair Weekend Sports Wrap, right here on the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast, and it is our last visit with Blair. The spring season is wrapping up, and also he'll be starting up a podcast of his own at kansascitystar.com, so that will be an interesting listen. Competition for me. Friendly competition, as it were. What a great day yesterday in the world of sports and over the weekend. And even yesterday, if you consumed all the things that were making news, like the Royals getting a sweep and Tiger winning the Masters and Sporting coming back for a tie, if you did all that in real time, I appreciate that and realize that you perhaps don't have any kind of family life. So to get through, I managed through on some live and some DVR. Lots of things to chew on, including the wrap-up of the college basketball season and looking ahead there with Blair, who specializes so much in the college sports, as well as spring football going on. So we've got Tiger, we've got Royals, we've got Sporting, we've got college sports. We've got it all, pretty much, with Blair Kerkhoff of the Kansas City Star coming up. If you are looking for quality work on your home by a local company that values integrity as well as quality, then Easton Roofing is the easy choice. You're not just a number or contract to Easton, where no job is too big or too small. Owner Joe Spiker is always personally available to you if you have questions or concerns. For residential and commercial roofing jobs, large and small, attic insulation, gutters, and much more, Easton Roofing is the perfect choice for you. Among their countless accolades are 4 consecutive years as an Angie's List Super Service Award winner, over 60 5-star Google reviews, over 60 5-star Yelp reviews, and Best of House honors 4 years in a row. A hands-on small business named after the owner's son, Easton Roofing does things the right way. All repairs are completed by Easton employees, and the company is completely licensed and insured. Get the personal, quality work that you are looking for the most important thing in your life, a safe and beautiful home. Visit EastonRoofing.com or call 913-257-5426. Make the best choice when you need help with your home. Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.
For many people, a family law case will be one of the most difficult experiences in their life. The law firm of Kenneth McRae will help you through it. Personal and effective help from Ken in concert with you will develop a unique strategy for your unique case. As Ken always says, divorce can be civil law, not civil war. Licensed in Kansas? Visit McRaeLawOffice.com or call 913-972-4765.
Get a refreshing change of your expectations of a sports bar and restaurant at the 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence. Matt Llewellyn's welcoming spot at Clinton Parkway in Cassold covers all the bases, like their own handcrafted beers and all the televisions you need for great sports viewing, but it's the large, varied, and delicious menu that stands apart. From a favorite of mine like the awesome ahi tuna appetizer to great sandwiches, outstanding pizza, and truly fantastic entrees, the 23rd Street Brewery has it all. Matt and his friendly staff make it that much more enjoyable. Food until 10, fun until late. The 23rd Street Brewery is a can't-miss stop when you are in Lawrence. Blair, what a weekend in sports. Even if Francesco Molinari had not thrown up on the back nine of the Masters yesterday, not feeling so bad since he's got an Open Championship and a Ryder Cup rock star performance in his back pocket in the last year. But still, if he hadn't, it still would have been a very good sports weekend. Royals sweep, Sporting pulls out a result, all kinds of other good things going on. But in the end, it turns into a historic day in sports. And I just leaving the slate clean for you on that one.
I didn't know if we'd ever see Tiger win another major. I was kind of, he's only 43, so there was time to recover physically from his ailments. But I just didn't know if he had the edge that he had that served him so well in the from the time he won his first one, 97, the Masters in 97, until his Open in, I forgot what it was, 11 or whatever it was, his most recent
08.
Was it? Oh gosh, 08. That's right. The 11-year drought. So it was phenomenal. But even when he got up among the leaders, I still wasn't sure he could do it. I wasn't sure, but the Tiger I saw in the back nine at Augusta was the Tiger that we have. Those of us who are old enough to remember Tiger and when he got started, that was the Tiger we saw. And so I love the narrative of the Dustin Johnsons and the Brooks Koepkas. These are they got to see the Tiger and experience the Tiger that they grew up watching and pulling for. My feeling was all of a sudden now there's a new generation of golfers that might be intimidated by Tiger Woods. The way he used to intimidate golfers.
And we didn't think that was going to happen.
No.
I mean, that factor, and it did happen yesterday.
Absolutely it happened.
Patrick Cantlay takes the lead, 3 putts the next 2 holes.
Yep.
Xander Schauffele takes the lead, blows it in the pine straw, doesn't make a birdie the rest of the way.
And Molinari, like you said,
right,
double-double.
And early on, Molinari. So we did see it happen.
Yeah, and that's what I remember about Tiger, how others would melt around him as he would make shot after shot. That his tee shot on the par 3, was it 16 was just that was Tiger. That's the Tiger I remember. There's incredible shot making at the most pressure packed moments. So that was fun. Not that golf hasn't been fun, and it hasn't. Not that golf hasn't benefited from the Jordan Spieths and other Dustin Johnson, others who have emerged over the last 6, 7, 8 years. But the fact that Tiger was in contention yesterday and over the weekend at the Masters made it must-see viewing. You had to watch the Masters. And the fact that it was a British Open Masters, right?
Right in the morning.
In the morning and playing threesomes, it made it just a little different. Just a little bit different.
Now, yesterday, and people can read the blog that I wrote yesterday, I would encourage that. I would encourage people also to visit our conversation on Friday, a more personal look at Blair Kerkhoff as well on the Friday podcast. So there's your 2 plugs there. But this was a comeback story for the ages, but it wasn't Ben Hogan getting hit by a bus and saving his wife's life, or it wasn't Jack Nicklaus, just an old man somehow conjuring up the greatness of the past. This was a flawed and failed human being who in many ways had done everything the wrong way on his rise up. So I thought, you're never going to get that on television. I thought Doug Ferguson, for instance, in referencing the Kansas City Star, he's the Associated Press golf writer. He has been their golf writer forever through the entire Tiger era. And he wrote a very balanced piece today. I think that's journalism at its best if you want to not see it. I will give you Kyle Porter at CBSSports.com, who wrote a fanboy piece. And there's one thing for us to enjoy the performance of person, and I've seen Tiger up close and personal during his glory years, and it ain't pretty. Let me just tell you that. He seems like a much better person in a much better place now. But this is more of admire. I think we should admire guys like Tiger Woods more like we did Ted Williams and Michael Jordan. People who, not adore them, just respect and see that they're fabulous at what they do. But the adoration is a little much for me. I will say that.
Well, I haven't read that piece in CBS Sports. I will now that you've referenced it, because I'm curious about it.
And it's a very well-written piece, by the way.
Listen, Tiger has not been Tiger for more than a decade, right? He hasn't won a major in more than a decade.
Right.
There were some other occasions where he won tournaments and was up on the money leaderboard, but not won a major. So yeah, all the questions about whether Tiger would win another major were absolutely valid. So that's a long stretch. Jack Nicklaus didn't go 10 years between majors when he was winning his 18. And so... And as you said, Danny, he is a flawed human. Just like many great athletes are flaws. His flaws occurred at a time when social media is what it is. And Jack Nicklaus, if he had flaws, or Ted Williams, or Stan Musial, or whoever, whatever great athlete from another era you want to suggest, didn't have the scrutiny that Tiger Woods did, or anybody else who lived in the time that Tiger Woods has lived. So I would just caution anybody who wants to make a judgment on Tiger to keep that in mind. But I would also suggest don't ignore it. That's part of the narrative. It's part of the Tiger Woods narrative. It's part of what makes this comeback fantastic is because he was so flawed. Not only, in his personal life, but certainly physically, and there were reasons to believe that he would not come back to this.
Yes.
And he has come back. And it's great that he has. He's only 43. And, Jack was 46 when he won the 86 Masters.
And you knew that was probably it.
Yes. And the fact that it was such an unbelievable sports moment that a 46-year-old golfer could withstand all the pressures that come with the Masters and win it. Tiger at 43, winning yesterday, I see him now in a different way going forward. I think he'll break Jack's Masters or Majors record. I do. I think he's got at least 3 more in him after what I saw yesterday.
Very interesting. Of course, I said he'd never win again, and I would have bet great money that he'd never win a major, and I'll still bet good money that he doesn't get 3 more, but that's just me because I think maybe those younger players learned a little bit of something yesterday. And Molinari, for instance, Molinari's already stood toe-to-toe with him and beat him at the Open.
That's
and
true.
Koepka's done it at the PGA. So I think this maybe was a little bit more of an aberration. They'll get past it. It was Augusta, so it was different than those other places. But anyway, reflect on that. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy my blog or not. It's mostly positive. It was a great moment in sports. I think we should just be able to separate as we sit here as journalists. I guess we'll wrap it up this way. As journalists, we are not paid, charged with being fans. The fan part of it can be part of it, but in my mind, it should only be part of it.
Well, I think the inner fan in everybody is what draws us into the business in the first place.
No doubt.
And then you have to set aside the fandom. The teams that I pulled for as a kid, I don't pull for any.
Right.
I just separate that. And as I've told people throughout my career, that what you learn to really pull for yourself in this business, whatever makes your job the easiest or the best. And listen, Tiger winning yesterday made Doug Ferguson's job great yesterday.
It did. I'll just give a personal example, and then we have about a dozen things to talk about. But yesterday I was working on a podcast. I went to Park University on Saturday. Now this podcast will air at DannyKlingscale.com Tuesday. I'm watching the Masters yesterday, and I'm working on this podcast about e-gaming. Park University
I'm fascinated by that.
is going to be the first area university. They already have. They had a team this spring, and there was a big event for not children, but gamers up there this weekend. And so I was really interested in that. I know nothing about gaming, so it's going to be it was a fun piece to do, and it will now be switched to Tuesday. But literally, towards the end, and now Tiger's going to win. I mean, I realize he's going to win. I'm sitting there with my wife. I'll be honest, truth to tell, neither one of us were rooting for Tiger, but we weren't like, screw Tiger. It was too great a moment. But anyway, about an hour to go, I'm like, I got to write a blog about Tiger. I mean, I have to. I mean, I can't put out a podcast about e-sports on Sunday afternoon. So there's the impact, and that blog did as much traffic as anything I've ever done.
Sure.
Tiger moves the needle. He does. And he's great for golf. He brought people into the sport who never would have paid attention to it ever.
Absolutely.
I'm sitting here wearing Nike golf shorts, okay? And Tiger Woods sold a lot of Nike golf equipment that was bad enough that they eventually had to stop making it. They just make gear now. They don't even make golf clubs. So that's the impact of Tiger Woods. Let's do a little bit of Royals, and I want to touch on a variety of things because this is our final one, and wrap up some college sports too. The Royals got a feel-good weekend, and Sam Melander in the Star wrote a column about how nobody's going out, and maybe this will help a little bit. They got a long road trip now, but we see the impact in baseball of an early season 10-game losing streak because the Royals just swept the first-place Indians, but they're 5-10, and they're still in last place.
And 4.5 out, by sweeping the Indians, I think that the Indians are still in maybe Minnesota. Anyway, the leader of the division's right at a game over 500 or something. So. Right. It's not mission impossible, but the 10-game losing streak and the way they lost a couple of those Seattle games, when you lose 4 in a row at home to Seattle, and you look like the last two, there's no way they should have lost, and they lose them. And I had all sorts of visions of being the biggest disaster season, that
Right.